Welcome to Season 2 of Red Sox Digest, the only show where pain, sarcasm, and false hope collide nightly, like a Masataka Yoshida ground out to second. We break down every loss, every meltdown, and the occasional win, with sarcasm, facts, and no front office spin. Subscribe today at RedSoxDigest.com, or keep wondering how a wildcard team spent an entire offseason avoiding power hitters. And now, here's the crew at Red Sox Digest.
Don't you just love that theme song, folks? Do, 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 do. You know what time that means, guys. It's time to face the facts. Oh, excuse me. Welcome to Red Sox Digest. Pardon me. Don't want to get my name in the middle of this. Jim is off this evening, so you have the Nick, John, and Thayer crew here tonight. We are here to talk about the 15-game streak that was snapped last night. We're going to talk about and break down our thoughts, our opinions. But first and foremost, congratulations to the Red Sox for tying a franchise record of 15 games straight. Very impressive. We will preview the Blue Jays series that's upcoming, which starts tomorrow at Fenway Park. We will also go over some of our wish list items for the upcoming trade deadline that is on the horizon, which is exciting to think about. We also want to wish a very special happy birthday to somebody who finally tweeted after 5 years today. One of my favorites. We will talk about him. We may have a piece of take tonight. I don't think I have any dugout dipshits that I know of, at least. Maybe Thayer or John do. And that's about that for the show. So we hope Jim is he in Florida at the current moment? Did he get there?
Yes.
Okay. So we hope he gets a nice tan, gets a nice relaxation, and gets a chance to put his feet up and relax there a little bit. Well, first and foremost, welcome in Thayer. Welcome in John. Thayer, how's everything going in your world?
So far, so good. Even though we blew our winning streak with some terrible baseball, but that's okay.
And John sporting a typical John hat. What's up in the world of John?
Not much. Just feeling good about where the Red Sox are right now.
Yeah, it doesn't happen often where you can go on a streak of that caliber. That was the first loss last night of the Red Sox for July, since July 1st, which just shows you how crazy this whole run was, where it started back with the Angels, and then it went to the White Sox, then it went to the Mets. Then we had, of course, the All-Star break deadline or All-Star break time, and then we came back with, in my surprise, the 4-game sweep of the Rays. That to me was just stunning, to come out of the break and see this team not let up the foot on the gas. They just kept going. And then Baltimore, coming in on Monday night, were winners of 7 straight as well. So let's not talk about, they just beat the Orioles. They're not that great. Mm-hmm. The Orioles are on quite a run themselves. And it is very difficult still in baseball to win both games of a doubleheader. It is very challenging to do that. The Red Sox were able to do that at least once with the Rays. And then last night definitely was the punt game. So what I want to do is I want to talk about last night's game and then the series with the Orioles first. I'm just going to go with my lovely Face the Facts minute to start, and then we'll go around with Thayer's take and then the Martinello minute. So we'll play.
It's time for Face the Facts, where excuses get laughed out of the room, your feelings are irrelevant, and your opinion probably doesn't matter. No spin, no cope, just the facts. And now, your esteemed host, Nick Face.
So one of the biggest takeaways from me from this homestand is the Red Sox are able to show fans and prove to themselves that they can actually win at Fenway Park. I think that was my big takeaway here, where you only lost one game in a series where you had 4 games against the Rays, and then you had 3 games against the Orioles. So far, so good. There's 6 wins that are right there that we probably would have been shaking our heads a little bit saying, can they actually do this at Fenway Park? Well, they can do this. And that's I think the biggest thing that stood out to me was that prove it mentality where we can do this. We can find a way to win and make it all happen. The first game, I thought that was the best because that's when backs were up against the wall. There was, I think, four lead changes in the game or comebacks, 3 or 4, something like that. And that was the one that I think probably at the beginning where we were probably saying to ourselves, oh, this is going to be the game. This is going to be the one. It's not going to happen. And then you just got timely hitting and quality pitching out of jams from a lot of our different players. I want to highlight Ceddanne Rafaela, that game that he had on Monday. That was great. See that home run, tied it up. But Caleb Durbin coming in the 8th inning and getting that ball over the monster, jump-starting that team. I think that was the loudest we've heard Fenway in quite some time, and the fans were just nuts. The players were going crazy. It was one of those, to me, it was the game of the season so far. I don't know what you guys felt on that, but let's talk about the Monday game first. John, do you want to talk about it a little bit?
Yeah, sure. I mean, the Monday one was
Tolley.
Was that 6-3?
Peyton Tolley.
Or that was Peyton.
That was the 6-5. That was the 6-5 game.
That was 6-5. Okay. Yeah. I mean, the best way to describe the Tolley start would just be the offense. These guys have. We asked a lot of questions about kind of just what is this team capable of if the pitching isn't, doing, on the top of their game. And, they showed this during this entire stretch, they showed that they could produce during, if the pitching's not going to have, what we're accustomed to with them this year. So Peyton Tolley, he looked great, by the way, through the first 5 innings, 5 2/3 innings, if you will. I mean, it was 1 run up until he got that second out in the 6th inning, and then kind of just the wheels fell off from there. But, not.
Were you surprised he came out in the 6th inning? Because I was.
I wasn't, but I was surprised after he got that second out, because if you were watching the game,
nobody was
every single pitch he was grunting. He was sounding like prime Jake Peavy after every single pitch. The whole stadium was loud, but you were able to hear every single grunt, every single pitch. And typically, or at least what I've noticed to this point, is once you start hearing those grunts out of Tolley, even on the changeup or the curveball, that's pretty much when he's starting to fall off the track a little bit. And they stuck out with him, which at the end of the day they won the game, so I can't be too upset about it. But him tacking on an extra 3 earned runs in that inning on him, I don't want to say it's unfair to him, but if there was any sort of thing that I could take back from that game, it obviously would have been that. But offense picked them up.
The offense did pick them up. The biggest thing that I was questioning is we're now in that second half where a lot of these guys are at their innings limits right now, where they reach uncharted territory. Thayer, were you surprised that he came back out for the 6th?
I was a little surprised, and it's something that moving forward we're going to have to really focus on with Tracy. Now that the games actually matter, and we're actually going to be able to talk a little bit about the games as opposed to the stuff going on off the field. That's something we're going to have to watch. Tolley does have this history. He sort of watches velocity decline as he goes on, and the more times good hitters get to see him, the better chance they have of hitting him, since his secondary pitches aren't great. So I was a little shocked that he sort of came back in there, but at the same time, they're coming off of the 4 games with Tampa. Their bullpen has been used a lot. I think it's sort of like that catch-22, but it is something we're going to have to watch. Tracy has managed to to make a few, I'm not going to say terrible decisions, but they're questionable things that we have to sort of see just how ready for prime time he is when it comes to working staffs. Because in the minor leagues, you don't really have to manage to win the games so much. It's you're managing to maintain and manipulate your players. But also from this first game, I'm really impressed with it. But at the same time, 4 errors by the Orioles is something we really have to consider. We really have to be aware of what's going on there. When we get those opportunities, this is sort of also credit to the team that they're not striking out, they're putting the ball in play. Right, but when they get gifts from their opponents, they're making use of them. In the game we lost, we didn't get those gifts. We didn't get the walks, and we were not able to string together a lot of those hits.
I just want to apologize to our viewers where you probably like, why the hell is Shea Langerhand's image up on our screen? The screen was actually frozen for a moment. There's no move. There's no trade. There's no nothing of anything like that. So I already started to see some I'm sorry. It was just frozen. We'll talk about it as the show goes on our wish list of stuff, but we have certain images of some of our players that we can have a discussion about on if you want to entertain potentially trading for somebody like a Shea Langerhans or a Francisco Lindor, something like
What'd
that.
You just call him?
So,
Langerhans?
Langerhans? What's his how do you say it?
Langoliers.
Langoliers. Thank you. You can trade for him too. Maybe I should be frozen here tonight too. Now we had the doubleheader, which was on Wednesday. That was yesterday. We had the afternoon and then the night game. Jake Bennett was the guy that went for the Red Sox for the first game, and he was nails yet again. Another quality start. I like the comparison that Tony Maz gave of Jake Bennett. I don't know if you guys are listening to any of Felger and Maz in the last week. He compared him a little bit to Cliff Lee, and it got me thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if Jake Bennett can be like a Cliff Lee, is that good? He was one pitcher growing up watching the Red Sox that I would have absolutely loved to have had on this team. Loved. And that that was a very bold statement that he made, Maz did.
Yeah, he was a true pro.
I would love that because you're right. He was a true thrower. And that's what he did again. I think that he's been one of the more unsung heroes of this team so far on this rotation. Thayer, what did you think about Wednesday afternoon's game?
Definitely. I think he absolutely saved us. I think Mother Nature saved the winning streak as well. Looking at it, I thought that second game where they were talking about going Suarez and or Bello with the bullpen in sort of shambles, I thought that was the game we were going to lose. But Mother Nature thankfully got us out of the Tuesday spot, and then they moved Bennett up. They absolutely did that on purpose to make sure he pitched the first game to try to tie that record, because I think they all knew what was coming in the end. But he was fantastic as a team. That was one of the better games that they played throughout. I was very impressed. Defensively, they're moving runners around still. It was a fun atmosphere to witness, sort of listening to how things were going. Even, O'Brien and listening to Fleming and those sort of things aren't the greatest. But I was listening to a lot of that game, and Sean McDonough was doing it. So it sort of brought me back to the day when, the heyday of the Red Sox, and it was really nice to hear.
We also got a chance to see Dennis Eckersley back in the booth last night for the Red Sox, and that was awesome. Very unexpected, and I love that he was so authentic in that booth when he was there, saying how much he missed it, saying how much that was a part of him. Hey, if he's got an itch, take a seat. Take a seat. You'd be welcome back with open arms anytime there. John, what'd you think of the Wednesday afternoon game?
Yeah, so I mean, the first one, obviously that tied the 15-game win streak record. That game was just a ton of fun to watch. Obviously Jake Bennett, he was getting hit around. I think he gave up 9 hits in the game. The Red Sox got out hit 11-9. But when we talk about throwers versus pitchers, where Garrett Crochet is more of a thrower, Jake Bennett is a pitcher. And you go look at his, his metrics, like how I like to do, and you go look at his heat zones on where he throws his pitches, guys. He just commands the corners, just like how Ranger Suarez does. And he got into a lot of trouble. The Orioles were all over his fastball, but his changeup, his slider, his curveball were all working phenomenally. And guys got on base against him. They scored a couple runs off of him, but he never lost his composure. It was disgusting. It was nice. It was sunny outside, but it was humid. It's tough to pitch when you're sweating so much more than you typically are, but he kept his composure, and he obviously gave the Red Sox an opportunity to win. He was able to get almost into the 7th inning, 5 2/3 innings, had 4 strikeouts, but kid's a stud. And then obviously on the offensive side, Jarren Duran this month is hitting like 160, but he's tied for 3rd in the American League in RBIs. People will talk about how, like, everybody says, oh, if Jarren Duran's going, the Red Sox are going, and if he isn't, then the Red Sox aren't. Jarren Duran during that 15-game win streak, he didn't, statistically wise, what the numbers you look at, it looked like he was horrible. I think it was around 175 or something like that hitting, but he's been hitting the ball hard. Just he's finding leather, and at least it felt like to me every single time, including the second game that they won 6-3. Just whenever he was up, there were guys in scoring position, and he got the job done. Whether he went 1 for 3 in the game, but he had 3 RBIs. He had that triple obviously in the first inning, and then he had in the 3rd inning, I believe it was a sac fly that he had. But he showed up when it mattered just as much as anybody did, especially since the second half has started for Jarren Duran. But they got that 15th win. It was awesome. Obviously, the game afterwards wasn't as fun, but what I take away the most out of this series is the crowd in that last game. These guys were down 4 runs in the 1st inning, and that crowd got louder and louder and louder through the entire game, despite being down. And
not a pink
that's
hat
the crowd that I expect to be at Fenway Park for the rest of the season.
I want to piggyback off your point that you were talking about with Duran. Yes, there were spots that he did come up with on this homestand where he has had a timely hit or so. He has been hitting the ball hard. I will give him credit for that. But as a whole, offensively with this team, I hope we all do come to reality here that as much as we have won, we're still 23rd overall in runs scored. 23rd. It's
second in runs given up, though.
Second in runs given up because our pitching has been tremendous. The pitching and the defense are the reasons why this team is in the spot they are right now. It was a massive point of this winning streak. I am not discounting some of the timely hits that happened, though. For whatever reason it was, you got clutch hits, whether it was Willier or Abreu coming up in this big spot, whether it was Rafaela, whether it was Wilson Contreras getting something that was done. Those cannot be overlooked, but we also need to make sure we are still a 500 baseball team, folks. We have come back and created a summer versus having to probably watch many of the Worcester Red Sox and wondering about 2027 or 8, depending upon what happens for next season. We can actually be invested right now in watching a team to see what happens. They have lots of work to get done. Am I thrilled from the streak? Sure. But I also know that I'm smart enough to understand, and I think you Thayer and John, you would probably agree with this statement too. As much as they can win a 15-game streak, you can also go on a terrible losing streak too. Go ahead.
Franklin Arias is going to the Worcester Woo Sox.
Okay.
7 minutes ago from Tommy Castle.
Was Shane Langoliers too?
No. But that's huge for him. Oh my God, he's been unreal. He's one that I've really have not wanted to hype up at all because these past couple of years when he's come up through the system, I've been very, I don't know, he just not excited about him. And then obviously he's been tearing the cover off the ball for 4 months now. But
Can you
for him.
can you freeze for a second?
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have breaking news!
Take it away
Yeah, so-
again, John. Sorry, I had to play that. Anytime that we get a chance to play that, we want to play that. I remembered that Jim had the button. So
Yeah, no. So Franklin Arias, he's going up to AAA. The guys, if you haven't heard about him yet, he's the number one prospect in the Red Sox system. Shortstop, glove first prospect, but he's been just tearing the cover off the baseball this year. He's hitting 318, 407 on base. He has a 994 OPS. He's been with the Sea Dogs up in Portland the entire year. I think the stat was he's been in the system for 3 years. 20 years old, 18 home runs in his first 3 years in the minor leagues. This year, 19 home runs already. I know that we trash the Red Sox development system, especially on hitters as of late in these past couple of years, but he's kind of gotten that Christian Campbell. They've tapped into that power side of him. Guy's an animal. Whether we're going to talk about the trade deadline later. I have a little bit of reluctance to bring in a shortstop because of this guy. Obviously, I still would if it's going to help the team this year, but Franklin Arias, like go watch some highlights. He's a wizard. He's the best defensive shortstop in the entire Red Sox system right now, from the major league team all the way down to the FCL. Obviously his bat still needs a ton of development to make it up to the major leagues, but he's shown nothing but A+ across the board offensively this year in Portland, and obviously now going up to Worcester. So really excited for him.
this is my big woohoo! Great. That's no knock on you, John. This is
No,
a
of
knock
course.
on the Red Sox organization as a whole. I am not buying it. I am not following it. I don't give a damn. I don't. Franklin Arias could be the next Nomar Garcia Parra, and I hope he is. But right now, I don't want any more kids up here. No,
It's a good point.
no. Let him
Agreed.
play in Worcester. I want him there for a year plus. After what we've been through, forget about it. Who was the one that would say that on as a media person? You can forget about it. Who did that?
That was
One of them from WEI.
Sopranos.
I forget who it was. It wasn't Andy Edelman, was it? Or Eddie Edelman? It might have been. You can forget about it. So, no, I am not in the camp of, oh, well, he did so good in Portland. Let's just bring him up to the big leagues. No,
There's people saying that. I'm not saying
they
that.
they could take a ride on the next rocket ship and blast them off into outer space, because I'm done. If these kids are going to do anything, mandatory. It's like boot camp. You are in boot camp for a year, and if you pass the test, then maybe I will make a phone call, and just maybe you'll become a big leaguer. But after what we've been through with Marcelo Meyer, Tristan Casas, Roman Anthony, hell, you can even say with the password. The password is you suck, dude. Sorry. I'm all set. Give me a proven major league commodity, and then we can have a convo. But
Yeah, and I
let's
think the
not
biggest
talk
thing
about
with
let's not
Arias
knock him on
is
his big development here with going to Worcester. Good luck.
no, but I think the biggest thing with him as to why it's taken him so long to get to Worcester at this point is because I think the Red Sox organization as a whole has gotten really scared about how fast they're promoting prospects because of
They should.
the Meyer. You said the password, but Anthony and everybody else that has from the offensive aspect, kind of what's happened with all of them. Even
All
with
right, guys,
Eason,
we're on a
who's
15. We had a
been unreal.
15-game win streak. the 2026 Red Sox actually matter. So we don't need to talk about the future or any of that other stuff right now. I'm glad he's in AAA. Let's actually stop talking about all this other nonsense and the stuff we've always talked about. Let's get back to the Red Sox. And Nick, to your point, I totally agree. The offense, they had a lot of clutch hits. But again, when they're taking advantage of opportunities, they're getting walks, they're putting balls in play, but they're still, and this is going to get into our next discussion, the offense is still lacking. It's not an offense that is going to produce in the postseason, I don't think. It's going to require a lot. Yeah, it's going to require an awful lot of help from the opponents, and you're not going to get that from playoff teams. And what helped them out was they were getting a lot of power in this span. You know, they're getting extra base hits, they're getting home runs. But prior to that, and even in certain spots during this, we are having to string together multiple singles. And that's a very difficult thing. This is not a team that is – it's still – and we saw that yesterday when we went down early. This is not a team that is really built for a comeback. It's a team that plays from ahead, that gets aggressive and has to work station to station and sort of run from run. So they're not a team that's going to put a couple guys on and – somewhere in the lineup, unless it's Contreras or Abreu in certain senses, are you going to see that big 3-run home run? If it comes from anywhere, it's just going to be a fluke. And that's unfortunate, which is why they have to really focus on playing the game properly and getting a bat as we go through the trade deadline.
Then we had Wednesday night's game. I was disappointed because I was expecting to see Ranger Suarez back. They said that he still was under the weather. Well, I'm a little fed up with Ranger Suarez, guys. I think he should have been out there because you had to stomach an Eduardo Rivera start where he gave up 4 runs in the first inning, and there was no looking back from that. You can't just give away games, and that was definitely the game that they wanted to give away. Granted, a lot of it was probably, again, because Ranger Suarez wasn't capable of throwing. He must have been on the toilet or something. Who knows if he had this lettuce outbreak or something going on. But anyways, I was disappointed from that. And then the bats just disappeared there last night. I thought the Wilson Contreras big hit, that gap shot that was done in the 7th, was going to kind of ignite the team. You saw Yoshida get a hit, and that made it, I think, 4-1 at the time. Yeah. But nothing was able to muster from anything from that point on. Thayer, what was your overall takeaway from that?
My overall take is Bello has done something to somebody and been cursed to bejesus, because whether if he is in a game, the first inning is a disaster, whether it's him or whoever comes in. It doesn't matter who. It's the most incredible thing I've ever seen for an entire season of the first inning of whatever pitcher's out in the game he's supposed to pitch is terrible. And you have to give him credit. He kept them in that ball game. He pitched very well. And I mentioned it before. Whatever the issue is, whatever his Mackie Sasser issue is, his Steve Sachs issue is, his Chuck Knobloch issue is, his Rick Ankiel issue is, whatever it is, it's there. So the Red Sox have to figure out something. They need to, if nothing else, find someone who can pitch the first inning before this man does, and then let him do whatever he does the 2nd through the 7th inning. But like we said, that was the game we figured we were going to blow anyway. And it's unfortunate. But again, the Bradish pitched well and sort of shut us down, and it was bound to happen.
Yeah. Well, here's what you do. You call the Rockies and you go get Brennan Bernardino back.
Right?
Yep.
We don't usually do this quickly on the pod where we have a piece of take, but I said it last night in our group chat, and I'm going to say it here right again. I think Brayan Bello got a nice piece of humble pie when he went down to Worcester. I do. I think that really affected him, and I think potentially in a good way, kind of like a kick in the ass, truthfully. You know what I would have done, guys? I don't want to beat a dead horse, but you know what? I would have started him last night, and I've said I've never wanted to see him again. And I would have done that because it's a better solution than throwing out a guy that has no business being here in the big leagues whatsoever. No knock on Eduardo Rivera. He's just not, he shouldn't be there. And yet he is because they want to baby Bello. Well, Bello, in my opinion, got the best medicine he could have ever received this season, is getting a little trip right down to Worcester. That would have been a very good opportunity for the Red Sox to test out what actually could have happened if Bello goes in. Here's my take. Second half, the Red Sox are going to have to count on Brayan Bello. They are going to have to get innings from him because you're already at an innings limit with Jake Bennett. You're already getting there with Peyton Tolley. Who knows what's going to happen with Conley early? Do not count on Garrett Crochet whatsoever. Just don't. Ranger Suarez is still crapping his sorrows away on the toilet. So you need guys that can throw. And yeah, Bello has not had very good first innings. He's had a terrible season. Give him another opportunity. See what happens from it. And that's what I would have done there last night. Just my take.
Yeah, I mean, well, first of all, I do want to give flowers to Eduardo Rivera because he's a relief pitcher, and the Red Sox brought him back up here in that Mets series to be a starter and not just an opener, but to actually be a short leashed starter. And he struggled. It's not something that he was meant to be here for or to do in general. 6 2/3 innings over. It was over 3 starts, a 9.45 ERA. Obviously nothing great. And coming out of relief for the Red Sox this year, granted it's only 3 1/3 innings, but it's a 0 ERA, 100 batting average against. Obviously super small sample size. You're not going to take anything away with that really, but you know, what else are you going to do? As Thayer said, we don't have that first inning guy. We shipped him off for a AAA player last year. I love that AAA player, by the way, but that's another story, another conversation to have.
Again. Can you say his name just so we can painfully all digress from this?
Oh God, hang on, I gotta look it up. He stole like the 20 bags in spring training. I forget what his name is, but regardless,
it was John Martinello.
It is. That is exactly who it is. But Brayan Bello out of the bullpen this year, 35 innings, a 0.77 ERA, a 0.86 WHIP, and a 208 batting average against. He's been nails, and he hasn't been doing the 1 or 2 innings. He's been going out there for 5-6 innings. So whatever this issue is with him in the first inning, they got to figure it out because Tolley, Early, Bennett, these guys all are gonna hit a rock wall at some point in the near future, and you're gonna need somebody to supplement that. Because, and again, we'll talk about it later, but the guys that are out on the market right now before this trade deadline, there's no right-handed arms. There's really none. So they're gonna have to rely on Oviedo, who's throwing. He's gonna play a factor at some point, and Brayan Bello's gonna have to learn how to pitch in the first inning.
Would either of you have given him the opportunity last night, like I said?
Looking back on it, yeah, sure. Why wouldn't you? Couldn't have been worse.
If you knew Eduardo Rivera was going to be your guy. I legitimately thought Ranger Suarez was going to throw because that's what we were told. And then like 2 hours before the game, he's under the weather, which obviously he's crapping his sorrows away on a toilet. That's just what's going on.
I don't see the harm in giving Bello the start. I also understand that's kind of what they've been doing is him or Eduardo Rivera into him. So it made sense, but obviously given
this was the classic throwaway game that Cora used to love to do. The classic throwaway game.
But to be fair, up until the 8th inning, I thought that they were going to come back.
Yeah.
Once Bello came in, he did his thing.
I would not ever have him pitch the first inning again this year. I would just continue to because no matter what, it works. When he pitches the second inning, he is a different animal. It's just the numbers do not lie. And I don't care. I know they love doing the lefty to the righty. Just find anybody any human being who can throw the first inning, whether they're right-handed, left-handed, or throw with both hands, I don't care. Just put someone out there that's not going to give up a crooked number in the first inning, and just put, because I don't trust Bay. I just don't know what the deal is, but it's clear that something there. It's clear there's something there. I don't know what it is, but it's there. And they yes, it's absolutely mental, no question about it.
100%.
And it's not something that they're going to be able to knock out of him anytime soon. And Nick, you're absolutely right. He is going to be, and it's a little frightening to say out loud, he is going to be a very important cog to this machine moving forward, because we've talked about it. Those kids are going to be on innings limits, and Bello isn't. Bello, he proved it last year. Like, I know down the stretch he got hurt and wasn't great, but he was a workhorse for the most part last year.
He should be one of the freshest guys because he hasn't thrown much. He should be.
Yeah. So I would absolutely go Pivetta with this guy. He's going to pitch every fifth day. It's in the books. He's going to pitch every fifth day. Yep. Play it like he's going to pitch every fifth day, but instead of bringing in the reliever in the sixth or the seventh inning to sort of take him into Whitlock and Chapman, I just have that relief pitcher pitch the first inning and then let Bello go to the sixth or seventh and go from there. And that's just how it has to be.
Whether it be Ryan Watson or Moran, something.
Even if you want to go Weiser, who cares? What's the difference between Weiser pitching a first inning or a sixth inning? There's no difference whatsoever.
Yeah, and obviously a lot of people have their irks with Weiser in the middle of the game. So throw him out there in the first, and we know what Brayan Bello is going to give you. I'm going to give the guy credit.
I mean, the past month or so, he's been okay. I haven't been yelling off the rooftop saying fire him into the sun. I haven't said that. So kudos to him for fixing himself and getting himself back on track. We're going to go to the Martinello minute. Here we go.
And now the part they don't want said. And now the part they don't want said out loud. No spreadsheets or corporate spin, just the truth, raw and impatient. This is the Martinello Minute.
Yeah, so obviously we've been talking for a while at this point already, but Red Sox, their win streak came to an end at 15 games, tying the franchise record. It was extraordinary to watch. It was exciting. It was energizing. It was the most fun stretch of baseball I think any of us have watched out of this group in the past 5 years, I think since the middle of 2021. They took 2 out of 3, as we've discussed, splitting the doubleheader, and obviously you can't expect too much regardless of who pitched in that second game. Just doubleheaders in general, how often does a team sweep them? There's just so many variables flying around during a doubleheader, so it is what it is. Would have been so cool to see 16, but obviously you tie the record with 15 and they lose. Kyle Bradish, Thayer said it, he was great, and the Red Sox just didn't have 18 innings of offense in them yesterday. Bello obviously gave them a chance, but giving up 4 runs in the first inning it's really hard to come back in that game. They came back from their first 3-run deficit of the year in the series prior to this. So regardless, it was just a very, very fun run. But again, the guys on the Nesson crew talked about it as soon as this game ended yesterday. Isn't the time to take the foot off the gas pedal? They got to rest today, and then they're right back to business tomorrow versus a Blue Jays team that they're 1-5 against this year. They might not have the winning streak attached to their names anymore, but I think that they could absolutely keep this momentum going on to this next 3-game set, and finish out this 10-game homestand that they're currently 6-1 in. 61 games left. I asked you guys last show, how many wins is it going to take to make the wild card? I think that we agreed on somewhere between 83 and 86. It's going to take a 33-25 finish to get to those 85 wins. But more importantly, they're 7 games back of the division at this point. I think that that's the goal. Chad Tracy alluded to it last night in his post-game press conference. And then listen, the season to this point, you sucked for 3 months, and then they were immortal for 3 weeks. My favorite manager, Aaron Boone, likes to say it's right in front of us, and I'll give him credit where it's due. He's right on that point. Breslow needs to nail this deadline that we're 10 games away from at this point, because I don't think that there's anyone in the American League that could beat the Red Sox when they're playing baseball. When they're scoring 3 or more runs a game, they're playing 700 ball. Not too many teams in this American League this year are going to beat you when you're just putting up an slightly below average amount of runs per game. We don't know what the next 12 to 15 months are going to bring in baseball. So go and take advantage of this trade deadline. The front office gave the roster an ultimatum. They gave them a couple weeks to say, here you go, suck, we're going to sell, go 15-0, and we're going to buy. They aced that test, and now it's on the front office. It's on Craig Breslow to go ace his test on the trade deadline. So, fill the gaps, add depth, supplement this group and this fan base, and, everybody wants to win. So, ball's in their court. Let's finish out this homestand and then go play the Dodgers before the trade deadline.
Anything else you want to add?
Nope.
Okay. We're going to go to third strike.
And now it's time for the third strike with Thayer.
We've talked about it all show long. The 15-game winning streak was extraordinary from the standpoint of a fan, being able to watch it and enjoy it. They finally brought energy back to the team. They were playing baseball the right way. They weren't looking like the Bad News Bears. The pitching has been outstanding. We did get a lot of power and slugging, which is impressive, and that's what's necessary. But I don't know if it's sustainable. And we talk a lot about this. They go 19 of 21 or something like that, 19 of 22. It was an incredible run, absolutely incredible run. But we are basically at 500. That's an important aspect to remember. Baseball is an emotional game, but it's also a statistical game. Everyone sort of jokes about batting average. It's an obsolete form, but for the longest time it was used. And baseball is all about averages. And sort of water finds its own level. So for 3 months, they were atrocious. For 3 weeks, they were gods, like John said. What are we going to get moving forward? I don't think we're going to be at either extreme. We're going to be somewhere in the middle. And now, really, this falls upon Breslow in the front office. We've talked about it all year long. Just really, what are they capable of? In the offseason, he made some nice moves. Contreras was a good move. Gray was a good move. Last year, bringing in Chapman was a good move. Getting Bennett was a good move. But he also, we'll call them sort of errors of omission, where he didn't make moves. He didn't do enough to improve the lineup. They're all talking about contrarian, especially with this series that we have, when they're comparing Contreras to the polar bear and sort of those sort of things. Yes, he's having if you look at it, a much better year, but they could have been done differently. We could have added more. We needed more. Duran is playing well, and maybe we'll talk a little bit about Warner's moronic comments comparing him to Bregman.
Not talking about him anymore.
Right, and that sort of thing. And yes, he's doing well, but professionals are professionals, and stars are stars for a reason. And we need to bring those in to have any chance at really succeeding in the playoffs, because we are a team that has to capitalize on the mistakes of others. We're a team that was sort of faltering, and teams were capitalizing on all the mistakes that we were making for the beginning part of the year, whether it was base running, whether it was stupid at bats where they were trying to do too much, whether it was physical errors or just mental errors in the field where they weren't doing the proper things. They're coming out of that. I fear that they might go back into that one here eventually if they start to lose focus. I don't need that to happen, but it really comes down to Breslow has got to make the moves necessary to improve this ball club, because I know it was asked of me a show or two ago, who's the most dangerous team in the American League? And John, you sort of mentioned it today. The most dangerous team right now, I think, is the Red Sox, because they have the starting pitching and they have the bullpen, and that goes a long way. They also have a lot of sort of momentum, but what they're lacking is offensive power. And if they don't add that, then they're not going to. No one's going to fear them, and that sort of will get into our conversation with this weekend. This week's weekend series. You are facing 3 pitchers in the next couple of days that have dominated our roster, and Cease is a power pitcher. We don't do well against a lot of these guys. And Gausman, say what you will about him, that man, I think he owns stock in the Red Sox, because he absolutely owns our offense every time he pitches against us. Yep. So that'll be an interesting situation to see where we go after this winning streak.
There's one thing that I wanted to show before we wrap on just the whole streak. May 10th, 1946. I don't know if you guys saw this graphic that Nesson put up last night, but this was the 15-game winning streak back in 1946 lineup. And I just looked at that, and I'm saying to myself, look at that team. Johnny Pesky, Ted Williams, Bobby Doerr, Dom DiMaggio, even Hal Warner. There's no laugh on that one. I mean, what a group that was put together compared to our lovely cast of characters. I mean, in my opinion, this team can't hold a candle to what the 1946 team was. But I thought that was interesting. It gave me a little chuckle last night when I saw that. I want to bring up this next piece as we move. Before we do the probables, I want to talk a little bit about Wilson Contreras and Sonny Gray. I'm calling this the leaders of the pack because I found it fantastic last night that even though they lost, Chad Tracy, my goodness, I can't speak tonight, was going to talk to his team about, hey, we got to keep our composure. Congratulations on the 15 games. Now we got to move to the next thing. These two guys right here stepped right up and had everything they needed to say right in front of them. Wilson Contreras is a guy that we've criticized sometimes on this pod, just for sometimes of the nature of the beast on what he is. But I think we've been all Sonny Gray positive for the most part with what we've seen so far with here. Guys, are these the two leaders of this team? I'm going to start with you first there. And do you like what you've heard and seen from these two guys in particular with this identity of the 2026 team?
I like Contreras' energy. Mm-hmm. I think it's been extremely helpful in the winning streak. I wonder if it's sometimes a little too much, that it's always so emotional that it's very difficult for him to maintain that and for the team to continue to follow that throughout the whole time. That is my concern there. The leaders that have been the most impactful with the Red Sox have always been the ones that have managed to maintain even keel. You know, we talk about Pedroia. Pedroia was a leader. Yes and no. Ortiz was always there. And
except
Ortiz
for when he destroyed a phone in Baltimore.
Right. But,
allegedly.
Ortiz was always the calming factor in that sort of thing. And Veritek was always around. And, they always had those individuals who maintained themselves and understood that there are going to be ups and downs. With Contreras, I think he runs on so much emotion that I think he wears himself down, at least temporarily, with his vim and his vigor. I think it impacts him as he goes through emotionally and psychologically. From the Gray standpoint, I think he has really been an impressive entity this year. I didn't think he had it to really pitch well in a big city. but he's really been doing phenomenally. Now, granted, for most part, he was doing well in a big city on a team that was terrible. And the amount of pressure on him was not necessarily at that same level. Let's see what happens now that he is pitching in at least a more temperate Boston zone as opposed to the frigid area that we were dealing with. I think he's capable of doing it. I think he's been a good, at least from what I can tell with the broadcast, they seem to be hyping him up, him always talking to the kids and sharing that information. I think that's going to be important. That we'll see how that goes on down the stretch. But in general, I do think that they've been good for the club. I want to see what happens with Wilson if it starts to go down again. Is he able to get that emotion back up and bring the team into it?
John?
Yeah, so I kind of give a lot more credit to Wilson Contreras than maybe other people will. Thayer, you're 100% right. Earlier in the season, I think that Wilson was a bit of an emotional roller coaster. And like you saw, this dude was trying to pick fights with other teams every other night. I look back at against the Brewers way in the beginning of the season where dugouts cleared, but I think that it was a 1-on-26. I don't think there was a single guy on the Red Sox side that had his back. And then you fast forward to that
He just wanted to give his brother a hug. Come on.
And then you fast forward to that Yankees series where the dude's literally almost standing over the lefty batter's box, and Will Warren hits him with the pitch, and then those benches clear. Obviously, tensions for him were very high because of just that was right off the Venezuelan earthquakes, and I think he was a loose cannon for a little bit of a stretch there. Going forward from there to the Nationals benches clearing altercation with Cavalli, whatever, however the hell you say it.
Cavalli.
But that Yankees one was different. I think that he had 25 guys behind him on his side. And I think since then, I mean, you see he's calling Durbin Little Bowser. He's got, before that Durbin home run, he struck out on a check swing, and kind of the same thing that happened in that other Nationals game that he got thrown out of, where he, check swung and then walked back to the dugout, tapped his helmet and got thrown out from that. But check swung, he didn't think he went. It was kind of 50-50. I probably think he did go, but he went right back to the dugout, and he was sitting next to Cedon Rafaela, and then 1-0 pitch, Durbin hits that go-ahead home run in the 7th inning, and he was the first guy out of the dugout. And I think that he has, just through these ups and downs, he's matured as a player as well. And now he has 25 guys that have his back, in this clubhouse. And then, as far as Sonny Gray goes, I think everybody had their skepticism on, is he a guy that could compete in a big market for a winning team? And obviously, again, 3 months of just not being a winning team, but he's had 3 starts in that winning streak that he won, obviously, all 3 of those games. I think he leads the American League in wins this year. Obviously, wins are, if you count it as a real stat or not at this point, and how baseball's played, that's up to you. But the guy pitches, the Red Sox win. And, his presence for these younger guys, we talked about last year that it was Alex Bregman for all, for the young hitters. This year, it's all the young pitchers. And Sonny Gray has just been a steady veteran in this clubhouse that is so much more valuable than what he can do on the mound, because he's only 20% of that rotation, but he talks to and is a mentor for 60% of what the rotation is. So absolutely leaders of the pack.
I think that this team has truly turned its corner and found its identity because of Wilson Contreras. I really think that this is Wilson Contreras' team right now. I do, guys. And that can be, some fans can take that as a good thing or a bad thing. Yep. I look at this as a great thing because they have rallied around him. They have woken up. They have played with an edge. They have figured out how to, when backs are up against the wall, figured it out. And most of this is from Wilson Contreras. Is he a loose cannon? Is he a hothead? Yes. But I think what we're seeing here right now is a catalyst of success led by Wilson Contreras. He has ignited this team. And it's giving me David Ortiz. I'm not saying he's David Ortiz. I'm saying it's a vibe kind of thing that I'm getting from his emotion, his leadership. He has found himself. That is what he could not do from the early beginnings of this season. He could not find himself. He has found himself here, and he is loving it. He loves Boston with all his heart. You can see that. And as a fan, I appreciate that a lot. Somebody that's going out there, do or die, representing the city. He's doing that. He's a keeper. I'm very pleased with what I've seen. Now for Sonny Gray. The biggest question on him for me was how he was going to do back in the AL East, because he did not enjoy his time with the Yankees whatsoever. I think Sonny Gray, what we have found here is a guy that truly has always had the right stuff, the right mechanics. I think he just needed to find the team that was a winner, that had success around it, that he could build something off of his talent. And I think we're seeing that now. He was always a guy that I always was interested in. Always wanted to, because I felt like the guy wanted to compete and wanted to pitch his heart out for you. He's doing that. I get a little bit of Derek Lowe in him, and a little bit of Kurt Schilling in a way, with a clutchness gene. That's what I just get. I get that feeling sometimes when I'm watching him throw. I think it's a craft also when he's out there throwing. And here's a guy that I think wants to show people that he is one of the best pitchers in baseball. And he has truly been the ace of this staff, especially without Garrett Crochet in the fold of this. It's just been balls to the wall for Sonny Gray. And I can't be more appreciative of all of his work that he's put in so far this season. So I'm a big believer in these two guys. I think they got two good ones here, and I hope the team can rally around and figure out how to keep on winning. All right, guys. We do this. All of us have this one time a year, that special day. I think you know where I'm leading to. There he is. So for the first time in 5 years, franchise icon, legend, Nomar Garciaparra tweeted out, "I loved it when the Fenway fans sung happy birthday to me. It meant so much. Thank you so much." I just found that there's sometimes chatter that says, "Oh, Nomar doesn't give a crap about the Red Sox. He's a Dodger land. He's out the West Coast." I think Nomar really does love the Red Sox. He just lives out on the West Coast, and I adored Nomar as a kid. That was my favorite player as a kid growing up. He was at everything. Everybody who had number 5, you had the batting gloves, you had it all. And then 2004 came and they traded him. There were tears for many of us, and they ended up winning the World Series without him. It stung a little bit without him there, but heck, we still won a world championship. But I don't think he gets enough love sometimes because the exit was so poor on how it was handled. So I just wanted to give a shout out to Nomar. He, I don't know if you guys ever remembered the birthday game that he played. It was 2002 where he hit 3 home runs on his birthday. I love that. That was a special game. Do you remember that one, Thayer?
I don't remember the birthday one.
And he had two in the inning, 2 home runs in the inning.
I do remember, and it's sort of my little tie to Nomar. Today is his birthday. It's my sister's birthday as well, but also the day he was traded was her wedding day. So we were all, happened in Massachusetts. We were all, and like I happened to be walking into the bar, like coming through for the reception, and all over the television, it's like Nomar was traded. I'm like, oh my God. As we go out, that was the discussion of the wedding. And now I can always remember her anniversary because it's the Nomar trade day. But it was definitely it was impactful. No question about it.
It wasn't a divorce, right?
No.
Oh, thank God.
Nope. Still going strong.
Excellent.
But I do remember that trade was that was Theo's crossing of the Rubicon. That was when, it was either going to be make you or break you. And
we wanted his head.
Yep. But Cabrera turned out to be just what they needed in Minkiewicz, and it all worked. And Dave Roberts together, it was crazy how it all tied up.
I think out of all the players that I've got a chance to watch, outside of him, he was a fan favorite of everything. I think it has to be the saddest exit a player has ever had with the injuries and everything, because this guy was a Hall of Famer. 100%.
Mm-hmm.
He was one of the best right-handed hitters, peak 97 all the way up to 2003, you can say. Just tremendous on what he produced and gave to Boston.
Clutch. So clutch.
Oh, yeah. You're never going to have another one like it. So it's sad how it went for him, because he should have been the Hall of Famer. Could have been one of the best Red Sox of all time, but it didn't happen. But we just want to say it is his birthday, so happy birthday to Nomar. And we appreciate the love that you give to Boston all the time.
And he was better than Jeter.
Got that right.
Played defense.
Actually, we are not playing the Orioles, so we're just going to go to the pitching probables. As Thayer said, it's a big series for the Red Sox in terms of who they're pitching against. So the Blue Jays have a combination of Dylan Cease, Gosman, and is it Barrios?
Yes, Minkiewicz.
Oh, that's what it is. Okay.
You savage,
I'm
yeah.
pull it up to see what the Red Sox are showing on their end. I know Sonny Gray has one of the games.
Yeah, it's
Savage versus
tomorrow is
Patrick Sandoval is Patrick Sandoval. Yep, I'm going to share my screen so people can
Saturday
see it.
is Dylan Cease and Sonny Gray, and then Sunday is Gosman versus our favorite pitcher, TBD.
And we love TBDs.
That might be a Suarez return.
It should be, and if it isn't, then that's a serious problem.
Yeah, that's more than a little bad lettuce.
Yeah.
What do we think on Friday's game? You think the Red Sox take it? You think the Blue Jays take it? Let's go to you first there.
Pitching matchup, you got to give it to Toronto, but they've kind of been all over the place. I think I'm going to have to say the Blue Jays.
John?
Yeah, so Trey Savage has one pitching appearance against the Red Sox in his career. It was back in June. Granted, it was against a different Red Sox team, but he went 7 1/3, 4 hits, 3 runs, and I think all 3 of those runs were in that 7th inning. It's going to be tough against him. And obviously Patrick Sandoval, he's been as, what kind of maybe 10% better than
not
expected.
Not a Patrick Sandoval guy here. Nope.
Not but it's gonna take a legacy game out of Sandoval, and the Red Sox are gonna have. You can't let any starting pitcher, no matter who it is, go 7 1/3 innings against you. You need to get into that bullpen. You got to make the starter throw pitches, get him out of the game in 5. I'm gonna chalk this one up as a loss, but I'm always hopeful with the second half Red Sox.
Now, the Blue Jays offense for the last week and a half hasn't really been all that impressive. They're slumping.
No.
And this is one of those sort of Jim and I always talk about, this is the step on their throat kind of series. We could put them out of it. This is always it growing up, and it was always us and the Yankees. And whenever the Yankees were down, we had a chance to step on their throat and put them out, and we could never do it. Now, this is going to be an important one to see if they can do that to the Blue Jays. Take 2 out of 3 and just sort of say, hey, you guys are out of it. Say goodbye, start selling, do whatever you got to do.
And that would be amazing if they become sellers, because I did not have this coming for the Blue Jays. I thought
I had them winning the division.
Quite a successful season. They were, an out away from winning a World Series? Strikes away. 2 strikes away.
Millimeters.
2 IKF shoe sizes larger away from winning the World Series. Unbelievable.
It's shocking. I'm hoping for 2 out of 3, at least 2. I don't think that they're going to get the Friday game. I don't. I am not a Patrick Sandoval guy. I am never going to be a Patrick Sandoval guy, and it's not going to happen with Patrick Sandoval here in Boston. So I'm just going to be the voice of reason here and say, move on. Look forward to Saturday, because you got Dylan Cease versus Sonny Gray. I'm going with Sonny Gray. I don't have any more hesitation on any of that. I think that Sonny Gray is going to get the win, look dominant, go 6+ innings, and the Red Sox will get a win back on Saturday. Now, looking at Sunday's game, that one is TBD. We love TBD games when that happens. That might be Ranger Suarez, but who knows at that point. I don't think it would be Bello, because he just threw – how many innings did he throw last night? Be Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I don't think that they'd be able to come back with that.
5 2/3, or did he get a full 6?
I think it was 5 something. Now, it should be rather Peyton Tolley, but they are holding him back. That should be a Tolley start, and it's not happening.
Yeah, you're going to see a lot more of that. If it's Suarez, I have a much better feeling about it. Suarez is a big game pitcher. Gausman has not been great this year, but he just, like I said before, even when he was at his lowest, he always seems like he could go out there and just shut the Red Sox down. So he's one of those guys that, just once he sees the lettering, he just finds another zone. This is one I'm going to rely on the streak and the momentum, and I say that somehow we managed to pull this one off. I do think we go 2 out of 3, and we win this game.
John, are you in the same camp?
Yeah, so I'm going to go 2 out of 3, and to put it in as simple terms as possible, coming out of the All-Star break, you had, I think it was 16 or 17 games before the trade deadline. So far, they're 6-1. They have 10 games left. They need to go 6-4 to be just solidify your buyer. You obviously have these 3 against the Blue Jays. You have 4 against the Athletics, and then you have 3 against the Dodgers. You got to win. You got to find 6 wins in there. I think 2 of them are going to come out of this series. I agree with you, Nick and Thayer. I think it's going to be that Saturday and Sunday game. It does suck that I'm saying that they're going to lose in Fenway Greens, because I think they're 7-2 this year with them on. And then I'm saying that they're going to win in the yellow jerseys, which I just don't like to do. But if anyone's going to win in a sunny yellow jersey, it's going to be Sonny Gray. But give me 2 out of 3 in this series. The Blue Jays offense, you pointed to it earlier. They've been struggling all year. They've had injuries all year. Vlad has been
awful.
It looks like a
awful.
Red Sox first baseman all year.
Yeah, right.
So yeah, give me 2 out of 3. Let's get them out of any playoff race. Get them deeper, lower into that AL East standings, and go head over to Sacramento, back on a winning streak, and keep these. What would that be? 6-7 series in a row they've won if they win this one.
Keep the good times rolling.
Let's keep it rolling.
I'm going to go 2 out of 3. I'm saying they're going to win the Sunday game, and I'm legitimately saying that Suarez better get his ass on that mound on Sunday, or I will be driving down to Fenway Park, and I will escort him to the mound myself, because I'm done. Get your ass on the mound, guy. I've had it. Take a friggin' Tums and deal with it. That ought to put me on bulletin board material in the clubhouse for the series. So now, I have a question for you guys. We are running a little late compared to where I thought we were going to be before our trade deadline stuff was going to come up with some names. Do we want to roll with that, or do we want to save it for Sunday's show?
We could save it.
Yeah.
Because we got to get the comments as well, too. So
because it's Breslow, he's not going to do anything till then.
We'll win the series, and then we'll have Jim back on Sunday, correct?
Yep.
I
And then
think
we'll
so.
go over all the different things that we have there too. Comments. It's time. All right. Oh, I got to stop sharing my screen. Sorry, folks. There we go. All right. Let's see what we have going on here tonight in comments land. Nope, that's not my button. There's the button. Let's go up to the top. All right. Our first comment from Jules. Duran and Monasterio both with blunders. I don't want to knock on Andrew Monasterio right now. He's been outstanding for them in the past couple weeks. I don't. Will it come with some stupid base running and stuff at times? Yes. But I can't knock Andrew Monasterio. He's been playing out of his mind. I don't know what you guys think on that. Duran, I just want him gone. Hopefully he's bringing his trade value up. I don't even want to talk. I'm just done. I don't want Jarren Duran here anymore. He can go to his new tattoo parlor out in California and get out of my life. Did you guys see this stupid thing that he did during the break?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He is a tool bag. I'm sorry. Dude, like, what are you doing? Like, improve your baseball skills. No, I got to get another little thing on here.
Little.
Yeah, he's got a whole masterpiece on his chest. I am not a tattoo guy. I'm sorry.
Literally, the painting that they copied is an absolute masterpiece.
I am not. The guy is a friggin' billboard for whatever he wants to be. Can you just improve your baseball skills? That's all I'm asking for. Hit the friggin' ball. Field the ball. Stop being a dumbass on the bases. You got God's gift of having the fastest feet in the land, and he doesn't use them. It's infuriating. Get him out of my life. He's never going to pan out here anymore. Rant over. Oh, my buddy, Mr. Langerhans. What do you want? Do you want any of those guys?
I wouldn't mind paying
I think you'd be. I think you'd be a fool to not want any of them. Yeah, I'd love. I do like Pena over Neto, but that's just purely because of the defense. I think that I know the Red Sox, and we saw the reports today that kind of seems like the first real smoke we've seen about the trade deadline in the Red Sox at this point. But Pena just gives that stability at shortstop defensively where Neto doesn't. And I know that Neto has the home run pop, but if you're comparing him mano a mano with Jeremy Pena, Pena's just he's got a higher OPS with 10 less home runs. He gives you the defense. He gives you that contact. I take him. Pena's a little bit older, but the guy's only 28. It's not like he's 32 like a lot of these other guys.
If you get Mr. Shane catcher wise, I'll be happy with that because that's an upgrade. I'm done with Barrows. I'm done. Let another team take him on. He's a head case in my eyes. His time is worn thin. I'm all set with moving on from him. I'm at that point with him. Now, Zach Neto. John may want to throw me out the window after I say this statement, but Zach Neto is Trevor Story 2.0. I don't want him here. I don't, because I am nervous as all hell that he's going to turn into Trevor Story if he comes. I am all for Jeremy Pena. I'm all for it. I don't like those low average, high home run type guys. Could he pan out fine here with the monster? Sure. But over the long haul of the player's career, I am nervous that could translate into another disaster in being what we have right now in Trevor Story. Does he move the needle maybe a little bit? But I'm looking more long-term effect in it. And I just don't think I don't want to deal for him. I'm a hard no on him.
I agree.
Next up, we have Matt with Eduardo Rivera, blankety blank, just had to make us sad with a horrid outing. Well, I mean, we went through it. I'm very disappointed in Ranger Suarez, if I haven't said it enough here tonight. Very disappointed to the point where he needs to come see me in my office. He has detention. My office now. I'll give him the Belding treatment. We will not get an impact player. Fact. Ooh, you're harsh, Jules. What do you think? If that happens,
History says he's right.
mm-hmm. So we
find out on Sunday what our opinion is on that when we talk about the trade deadline.
We do not want you to be right, Jules. No offense. The opener crap doesn't work for this team, and a lot of that falls on Bello. I absolutely hate openers. I just do. It's a Tampa Bay Rays effect that went in play, 6, 7, 8 years ago, something like that. I absolutely hate it because it's nothing but babying a starting pitcher or not having enough people in your system that can give you innings. I am not for openers whatsoever.
I agree. The only piece to this is the opener that they're using with Bello and the opener that they used with Pivetta is a little different than the openers that the Rays were using. The Rays were using them to, statistically speaking, they wanted a fresh arm to deal with the top of anybody's lineup. They would mix and match that, thinking that the top of the lineup was the most dangerous. You don't want your guy facing them more than 3 times because their pitchers weren't good enough to really get those guys out 3 times. So if I start at the middle of the lineup, I'll go through them twice. I'll be fine. By the time I get back around to facing that thing again the 3rd time, it's fine. This is a little different. They're not using the opener because they don't feel Bello is capable of doing that. They're using the opener because Bello just is mentally incapable of getting people out in the 1st inning. It has nothing to do with his physical abilities. It's just a mental thing. And that's why in this situation, I despise the opener as well myself, because it means you're just sort of, you don't have the proper roster. But this is different. It's not a physical thing with this man. It's just a mental and emotional thing. And it's totally that.
It's not even about facing the top of the lineup with Bello, too.
No.
He faces the top of the lineup every single time because the guy who does start the game gets lit up. Every single time he's thrown, it's been the top of the order that he's faced.
It's voodoo. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen. They could probably throw Chapman out there and he would probably get lit up.
Yeah, anybody, even Sonny Gray, if he did the same thing, probably. That Duran home run, not gonna lie, had me tearing up a little. That hit me. Oh, Matt, I'm glad that home run had you feeling that way. I was just happy. I'm just gonna put it at that.
That home run. That was the first time I actually felt something watching the Red Sox, probably since that Xander Bogaerts home run against Garrett Cole in the 2021 wildcard game. That was sweet. That home run was so sweet, especially right after that Wilson Contreras strikeout. And then just immediately, and the call both from Dave O'Brien, elite call on his end, and then also Will Fleming on the radio broadcast. Both of them had A+ calls.
I crap on them. I know Thayer does too on times. I'm gonna give them flowers for it because it was well done, and I don't often say that at times, but they relish the moment perfectly.
Yes.
I would have loved to get to 16, but it's fine, I think. Well, blame Ranger. Have I mentioned Ranger yet tonight? Who is the biggest surprise player in your opinion this season?
Bennett.
Thayer, who's your biggest surprise player?
Bennett.
John?
Yeah, from a pitching standpoint, I'll go with Bennett. From a offensive standpoint, I think it's Duran, just because of how zero he gave you for 2.5 months, and then now it's not too much of a small sample size anymore. Now we're at nearly a 50-game mark of him hitting 300 with a 800 OPS.
My biggest surprise is Sonny Gray. I knew he was going to be good, but I didn't know he was going to be like this. Very, very surprised on that. And I'm actually going to take this on a different note. My biggest surprise player in a bad way is Carlos Nevarez. Regressed to the max. I don't even want him on the team anymore. Truly. I just don't. He sucks at ABS. He can't hit anymore. I think he's out to lunch. I really do. I question his game calling. I question it all. I have more faith in Connor Wong behind the plate right now, guys. I truly do.
Connor Wong's hitting. His defense hasn't been
great games
like in years past. Either.
No. Maybe that's my biggest surprise. Connor Wong figured out how to play baseball again. Huh? Imagine that. Tracy brought Chappie in on the road and had to use Witt to close. Are we talking about the Mets series? Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah,
that was an extra innings, though.
I was extra
innings. In the conversation about being questionable of Tracy in some of the.
Are you guys a little concerned on Chapman right now?
Absolutely. I've been talking about it for weeks.
Something's not right with him. I know he's battling.
He has one leg.
Yeah,
and there you go.
He's one leg and still throwing 97.
But you can see it. Like that's why he's opening up. Like he's always wide to the arm side. He's trying to do too much. He's opening himself up too much.
Yeah.
We also didn't mention too from that Monday game. I'm going to say that Red Sox also got lucky in getting out of that game because that Tyler O'Neill bullet.
Oh my God!
I'm stunned still that Chang caught the ball. I truly am and was well positioned. Because Chapman was about to get annihilated.
Yep.
Who else was it? Adley Rushman? Didn't he hit the double off the wall?
He wasn't here.
Who was the one that hit the double off the wall on Monday night? Yeah, it was.
Henderson. No.
Rushman. Gunnar Henderson. That's right. Yeah. That's right. It was Gunnar Henderson.
Yeah, Henderson had 3 doubles in the game, all against lefties, all to the monster.
Yep. Next up, we have Rushman, Langeliers, Goodman, Neto, or Pena. Who was the best fit? Baltimore is not trading in the division, in my eyes, so I think that you can just cross that one off. Goodman. Do we like Goodman or Langeliers better for catcher? Goodman. That's a good question. I think I'm a Goodman guy.
I like Goodman better. I think that Langeliers is more obtainable.
Yes.
And I have less questions. I know that Goodman has reverse splits with cores. He actually hits better on the road, but we haven't had too much success with cores guys coming over here in the last half decade. So,
but again, Langeliers is playing in a minor league stadium.
So and we're not even going to go over Neto, and we're not going to go
playing in a bandbox with a lot of high home run points.
No Lindor for Betty. Thayer's not going to be happy with you, Betty.
I would still go with Lindor.
Over those shortstops, Neto, Pena, Lindor. Are you guys all Lindor? I'm a Lindor guy after that.
I'd go Lindor.
I'd go Pena. And I'd go Pena there.
If you love Arias so much, you would go Lindor.
Well, that's my next point. we got Jeremy Pena at home already.
Yeah, Matt. I'm still learning. I have word struggles sometimes with the brain to the mouth to articulate things. So yeah, that one's on me.
So it makes you special to us, Nick.
Everybody's special in their own right. Now the Barney and Friends theme song will play. Franklin Arias is in Worcester, and he's going to stay there for 2 years. Mandatory by me. The Ecker. That was great last night, seeing him there. We want him back. Give him a blank check, John Henry. Bennett is a pleasure to watch, and I am not interested in his metrics. Watch him. He is a pitcher. Here's my question. Out of all the pitchers that the Red Sox have right now, if they had to deal with one, who are you parting with?
Tolley.
Out of the kids.
Tolley.
Okay. John? Can't say nobody. Can't.
I'd probably I'd probably go with Bennett.
You know who I'm going with, guys?
Who?
Eduardo Rivera.
I was waiting for you to say Bello.
Actually, Cutter Crawford's high on my trade list.
I was gonna say
I
Oviedo.
highly recommend him. Yep, highly recommend.
Tanner Houck.
Yep, coming back. Here he comes. From where he was in the 70s, Bennett is a terrific pitcher, but falling in love yet. I can't make that sentence out, Betty. I'm sorry. My brain hurts tonight. Is she talking about Eck? E-C-H? Eck, probably?
I think she loved Eck in the 70s as a starting pitcher.
Okay.
Bennett's a terrific pitcher, but she's not falling in love with him yet, I think is what
it's fantastic.
Probably.
We have other people on this pod that can comprehend. It's just a pleasure. Should we be a little worried about Chappie? Yup, I am. When Duran connects, he produces. That's great. Then other teams should be calling to get him out of my life. Mayer and Story cannot come back. I will be livid. Go ahead.
Real quick to that, Nick. When Duran connects to the opposite field, he produces. When he pulls and hits home runs, he gets it locked into his brain and goes into this crazy pulling off funk.
He goes to his tattoo parlor after, too, and tortures himself. Meyer and Story cannot come back. I will be livid. I'm agreeing. I don't want him back. All set. We're good.
Meyer won't be back this year.
I don't think so either.
Story I'm terrified of for when
Michael, please do not get yourself in the dugout dipshit category, my friend. Please don't. Please don't. Save us, please. Hot-headed. Yes. Duran. Fun team to watch now. Yes, without Duran. No more Duran. Thank you, Betty. I'm just thrilled it's a season. Same here. I think that's the biggest surprise out of this whole thing is that we all thought that this was going to be done, over, couldn't hit 60 wins, and now they have done the impossible. They have made this a summer where we can actually watch and feel something. But they have a lot of work to do still, folks. So don't get too excited yet. It's fine to like what we just saw, but now the nitty-gritty's here. Now you need to take care of business. What's this? Iacin spot start. No opener BS.
Nope.
John's shaking his head.
If we're not bringing up Arias, we're definitely not bringing up Iacin. He's doing another prospect guy. He's having an ascension or having a dominant season like how Tolley did last year, starting in Salem, and he's made it up to Portland. They haven't promoted him to Worcester yet, but I'm sure they will before the season's over.
And I hope he's not injury prone. I'm not sure. Is she talking about Ranger?
Definitely somebody.
I think she was talking about Arias because of all the other kids we have. They all tend to get hurt.
Oh, I might be playing the dugout one tonight, guys. I might be. We can't do this with the kids, folks. We just can't. He needs to prove himself.
That one's a little more tongue-in-cheek, I think.
Yeah.
With Team Venezuela.
There is definitely a group of people that are calling for him to come up this year, which is just ridiculous.
This might be for about Zach Neto.
No, that's about Arias.
Oh, Arias. That's about Arias. Okay, yeah. That's right.
Meyer one, you can't really make an argument against.
This is a good comment. I'm trying to browse through them so we can see if we can get this wrapped soon. Need some grown-ass men on this team. Bresbutt needs to buy at the deadline. Michael, I completely agree with you. Yes, we need adults in the room.
And Nick, I think that sort of also ties to your point when you sort of said, don't get too excited. I'd almost disagree with that. I think as fans, we have to get excited, and I think we have to hold Breslow and front office accountable for this. That this can't be a trade deadline like we've had in the past. It can't be well, we're going to bring in a Schwarber and he's going to be hurt for 2 weeks before we even get anything out of him. It can't be we're going to bring in a couple, has-been middle relievers to add to your bullpen. That's not what we're looking for here. We need some impact. We've been here talking about we need an impact right-handed bat, and there are places to get it, whether it's at your catcher, a left fielder, or shortstop. Those are the 3 places, or a designated hitter, however you want to put it. There are 4 spots on the diamond where we can improve ourselves with a right-handed power bat. And we've already mentioned 2 to 3 guys already that can fill those roles. We've been talking about pitching for weeks. They need a starting pitcher. Wherever they're going to get it from, and I know, John, there's not an awful lot out there, so we're not looking for an ace. We don't need a top-of-the-rotation kind of guy. I don't expect to see Crochet back, but to your point, Nick, we do have Gray and we do have Suarez, who are very capable of starting professional playoff games and doing well. The kids, if we do enough with them, will be all right. So we need a 4th or 5th starter. We don't need a front-end starter. We just need a guy who will mop up and take innings for us. And finally, we need a bullpen arm because we've been talking about it. Chapman is not 100% healthy. And Whitlock and Slayton are doing well, but we need to add one more piece. We add those 3 aspects to this team, we're talking about a very competitive playoff team. And it needs to happen. It can't be the nonsense that they've done in the past couple of years. If that's the case, then enough with Breslow and enough with this team and talking about full throttle and all this other nonsense. They're simply a team that wants to make the playoffs on the least amount of money possible and just get people's butts into the stands and sell their app. And that's all they're interested in. They're not interested in winning if that's the case.
Oh, so you want to talk about Tom Werner's statement that he made? Disgusting. I thought the guys on 98.5, I thought Jim Murray did it perfectly. Oh, look at us. We win. We won. We knew we were good. Like that crap. Like that can't happen. Can't happen. And that's one of the reasons why this ownership group has been so hated. Like, shut your mouth. You haven't won anything. You just got yourself out of the basement. That's it. That's all you did. Don't start gloating. Don't start saying, oh, we knew all along that this was going to happen. We knew Durbin was going to be good. He's way better than Bregman. Shut your damn mouth. All of
the only
you.
person who could say that is Breslow. Definitely not anybody in ownership, especially Tom Werner.
Christ. They wonder why fans sell the team. It's because of this bullshit that they spew all the time.
And that wasn't the worst part. It was the one honest thing that he said that was the worst part about it, talking about not having any power. And that's because they don't want to pay for it. He admitted that they're not going to be that team. We're not going to spend money on power. Yeah, you're not going to hit as many home runs.
We're going to go full throttle, folks.
Costs too much friggin' money to do it.
Go produce another friggin' sitcom, you moron. Anybody else have anything else they'd like to say to Tom Werner or the show? Go ahead. Asshole. Excuse me. I call it as I see. Anything else you want to add, John?
Think about the kids.
That's true.
Yeah, I'll ask one question to you guys before we head out of here. Does this winning streak make you guys think any differently about Craig Breslow?
Nope.
No.
They did this in spite of him.
No, I don't. I think the players that he brought in were succeeding and doing well, yet the team itself wasn't successful. It's really, and he could talk about, it was all about pitching and defense. Well, the team that he started with was not playing defense well. They were pitching well, but they weren't playing defense well. That all changed when those guys got hurt, when they started to bring in the kids from AAA, the guys that are playing with, ironically, they're not as productive, but they are having much more productive at-bats. That's the craziest thing. They probably aren't going to hit as well, but they're going to put the bat on the ball more often and move runners around and do the right thing. So that isn't necessarily to any credit for Breslow. He can't say, "Oh, this is the." It's probably more towards Tracy. Tracy having understood who these kids were and what they were capable of because he had so many of them in the minor leagues. And again, it all goes back to a good coach and a good manager puts people in places where they can be successful. And that's what it's all about.
The team has really responded well to Chad Tracy as their manager. And I think that a lot stems from the familiarity with him already have been in Worcester, knowing the kids, knowing the approach, knowing what he had to do. It's made all the difference in the world. And I will say, I do not think the Red Sox would have gone on this winning streak with Alex Cora as their manager. I don't, because Cora was stubborn as a mule, and he was doing things in spite of certain things, like small ball. You really think we would have seen squeeze plays and moving the runners along and all this other stuff with Cora? Nope. I'm actually, and there's no knock on Cora, I'm glad we have a fresh start right now with a new voice and a new system and a new understanding of how to win baseball games.
Yeah.
I think his voice was worn out, and it's nice to have a new, fresh voice in the clubhouse.
I agree from the standpoint that Cora wouldn't have done well with this kid group because he is a major league manager who expects to have major league talent, who has won with major league talent. This isn't. It no matter what we say, it's not major league talent. It's AAA, it's quadruple A. It's also ran players who are doing exceptionally well, but they're doing exceptionally well with a AAA manager who's used to dealing with this kind of talent. And he's just happy to have a professional job, and it's probably making his job a little easier being with players that he understands and gets. If he were actually managing a team of true professionals, they probably would look at him as a slapnut and wouldn't really listen to a lot of the things he's saying. But the fact that the kids are listening to him and they're listening to, Contreras and Gray and sort of building that all in, I think not having so many veterans is a bonus for Tracy, where not having veterans was a negative for Cora.
I also think Chad Tracy has earned the right to be the manager moving forward as well too.
Yeah, the only thing that
I will hold my tongue on that one.
Yeah, well,
I'm saying that.
Yeah,
as a Red Sox guy, I'm saying that the Red Sox will do that. I'm not saying that that's the right thing to do right now. I'm just saying he's earning those stripes within management of the Red Sox is what I want to say.
Yeah.
Yes, and I would be afraid again. Sorry to interrupt, John.
Oh, you're good.
Again, I'm going to be afraid that this is, we talk about them wanting to be a Tampa Bay clone. Cash is just an analytical sort of demon who just follows what they want him to do, and I fear Tracy's going to like I just mentioned. He coaches minor leaguers well. He deals with young kids. I so fear that that's fine. Let's keep Tracy. Let's keep Breslow. Let's keep our payroll down. This guy's clearly able to manage young kids. Let's go out and throw an 81, 82 win team together. Maybe we'll get lucky and we'll have a 10 to 15 game winning streak every year. We'll make the playoffs. We'll make our money, and away we go, and we spend no money. That would be the total Red Sox thing to do with their new scheme of sort of small ball, Tampa Bay Ray ball. That would be absolutely what they do, and that's why they would keep Tracy, because he can coach these kids.
Yeah. First of all, Chad Tracy, congratulations on getting inducted into the Woo Sox Hall of Fame today. Very cool speech out of him. Very cool video done by the Woo Sox, having all the AAA guys, even and all the young guys that are in Boston, saying congratulations to him. But you're all good. I love him. I think that he's been awesome. And Thayer, just to your point, he is the perfect manager for what this roster is. And going forward into the future, if Breslow's here, I think that he does stay here. But if they, Breslow and the Red Sox end up parting ways, I can't imagine that the front office is going to want, they're going to want, whoever the next PBO is or GM, that guy's going to go and choose what his staff is going to look like. And, I just hope that after this year, Chad Tracy is still involved with the Red Sox, but it's going to be really hard if Craig Breslow isn't the man in charge, which stinks because obviously we have conflicting thoughts on him.
I mean, I just think he's been exactly what the Red Sox were hoping he would be once they got rid of Cora. So we'll see how it goes the rest of the season and second half. Sneezy, I mean, myself and Thayer and John are going to be signing off here for tonight. We want to make sure, too, that next week it's going to be a little difficult with how we're going to schedule some of these. So it may have to be pre-game show in a way if we're doing something, because it is, I think it's 6 consecutive games of 10 o'clock starts. Is that correct on the schedule next week?
Yeah,
if I read it correctly? Good. My eyes aren't failing me just yet, so that is correct. So that's, again, the Athletics, and then the Dodgers will be Friday, and Saturday. Oh, that's a 9-10. Woohoo! We get an early beginning for that. So it's going to be a rough one next week on what we're going to be able to do. We'll definitely have the Sunday game. Which will be on the 2nd. But mercy, I don't think we've ever had a 10 start time like that in a long time. Usually you have like a little break, like that 3:30, 4 o'clock. We don't even have that. I would have been totally fine with that, like on the Thursday game, but you don't. So
yeah.
Get your rest in, folks, because it looks like we're going to be up late next week.
At least they're 9:40s. It's not the end of the world. 20 extra minutes.
Yeah, I was going to say if they win the first 3 out of that set, I'd say we could just go ahead and during the game, before the game even starts, get going on before that on that Thursday night. But they obviously got to win.
That's right. They got to take care of their business. So we'll see what happens. We'll be with you Sunday after the series against the Blue Jays. Hopefully it's at least 2 out of 3 we'll be talking about. I want to thank Thayer and John for joining us here tonight on the Red Sox Digest pod. You can subscribe, donate to our poor causes at our website so we can be a well-oiled machine. Anybody that has any extra green that's out there that likes to listen to us rant and ramble and have our opinions, please donate to the poor. Yes. We will see you all very soon. Have a great rest of your night. We'll see you soon.